Alright. Good afternoon. Let's see, it is a Monday, June 24th. It's your boy Skag. Tapping in for a quick little Monday market overview. Just getting settled in for the week here myself. And figured I would document a little bit of my Monday thoughts here. Again, I don't normally trade Mondays in case you're watching this and you're new. But I do like to take a look after the open to see just a little bit about what the early sentiment of the week may be and what kind of opportunities we can map out for the week going into tomorrow's trading session. So I'm going to go over the dollar index, going to go over probably gold, Nasdaq, oil, all the typical fun stuff here. Taking a look at the dollar, it has had a pretty interesting day so far, a little bit to the bearish side here. We did sweep above the highs from the 14th, which are pretty much equal highs from here too, so pretty interesting area to get a reaction off of some fresh liquidity here. We closed on Friday. No real major volume from the day. We didn't really sweep anything this week. Kind of retested the high off that's right at that Sunday open, right at 6 p.m. We've been spilling over ever since. Oh. We haven't accomplished too much today. We did take out this lone candle here, which is definitely pretty interesting. Another thing I'm going to note is the volume is not really that crazy. We've seen some higher sell attempts here, so a decent spillover in price. Nothing really impressive from volume. So initial thoughts on that are that I wouldn't be opposed to us pushing up a little higher. What do we have on the news calendar this week? Do we have any trigger? What are our trigger days? Hold on real quick. Let me see today. There we go. I'm gonna filter this by high impact real quick. Just GDP? Is that all we got this week? What's good, Wally? Is that all we got, brother? I know you dropped something in the chat in the Discord too. Let me just go check what this what you had. Home sales, crude oil inventories, unemployment claims on Thursday. But that's just a weekly event. We do have NFP and an actual unemployment rate coming up. Apparently next week. Oh, and PCE on Friday. Why didn't that pop up here? Oh, it did pop up here. I just wasn't paying attention. Okay, so we also have core PCE on Friday. Yeah, so PCE forecasted to come out lower. That's definitely bearish dollar. GDP looking to contract, but that's not going to be a surprise to anybody, I don't think. Yeah, it might be tough to get higher on the dollar. I think what I need to see here more than anything on the dollar index is I need to see what kind of volume comes into the buy side. I'm not really impressed with this sell-off. I don't really see anything here that looks like super appealing to me. We only kind of swept the lone candle today, a lower volume. This doesn't really convince me too much to the sell side. Plus, I don't know, I feel like the market could sweep this one more time as well. So I wouldn't rule that out. Not to the bearish side do we really want to be testing above these highs anymore, but again, there's really nothing. It's like this buy volume that failed. Again, I don't know. I think I still need more confirmations on this. I would like to see some sort of buy side absorption if I was gonna try to go short. But I think what's more likely is that we sweep these highs one more time at 105.50. So that's what I'll probably look at, like going into like Tuesday, Wednesday. I would love to see if we could sweep this one more time before actually going short. If we can get something like this, that would be more ideal. Again, PCE may not give us the bearish read too. That's always a possibility. I know it's forecasted right now to come out at 0.1 to prior 0.2, which would lean us towards the bearish dollar side. But I think this is very easy to disappoint. I feel like this can come out just again at 0.2 and throw a lot of disappointment into the market. And this is all the way out on Friday. If we want to get a new high in the dollar, I mean, there's really no data that can push us there. Again, GDP is on Thursday. I mean, if we're going to wait all week for Thursday and Friday to push us above these highs, that's going to be a pretty boring week. Unless we, like, run for these lows first. But, again, leading to the more bearish side, I would prefer a week where we kind of don't take out these lows first. That's just me. Hold on, this set is all over the place. Down a little bit. So yeah, I'm gonna look at something like this week. Again, maybe if we get some sort of buy side absorption, we can play some sort of retracement inside of here. But again, I don't really like these highs, and I don't really see anywhere inside of this mess that we would be good for. I would be interested potentially tonight because I don't trade Monday. So moving into like the Asian session, maybe if we come and retest below here one more time during Asian session, if some sort of live OB does form, I mean, you could potentially take a buy scalp. Again, it's not my preferred direction to trade, so I don't know if I would take it. The setup would have to be really nice on something like gold to the downside, which we'll take a look at gold. Maybe that looks good, maybe it doesn't. But there might be some opportunity there, just because again, I don't like the setup here. So speaking of which, let's go take a look at gold, which is actually tradable. Unlike the DXY there, which just gives us some insights, some price action. Yeah, see, this had some interesting... First off, gold's been very boring. This is just... I mean, if you really look at this, like, you only had really 2 nice days of actual movement in the past month. Like, maybe the past Friday, and then this Friday, which was, I believe, to be NFP. As well. So really this hasn't done too much unless you're scalping it around from like range highs to range lows. Again, we got some interesting action here on Friday. We did pop above like the range that we were stuck in and we immediately got rejected. This could mean that there is some potential like downside still coming here. Again, there's really nothing at the bottom of this range that would tell me that like now that we've grabbed liquidity to the upside that we wouldn't maybe visit this if everything is right. So interesting idea there. Again, I think buyers buying into this, you're really betting on some sort of absorption model here. So we'll take a look at what that looks like. But people that are targeting like these lows to the sell side, I get it. It's not a terrible idea depending where your entry is, especially if you're holding it from last week and you're already scaled off. But that's just a hypothetical. Taking a look at some of the lower intraday charts. Again, there's really not much. I mean, this is some pretty decent volume, I'm not gonna lie. Compared to like relative volume, it is some of the highest sell volume, and this did break structure. So again, the people that are looking to the short side, I don't blame you, not at all. But it's not like it supersedes this. I was like draw an arrow there for a sec. Yeah, so the big question, man, is do we come and take out these lows? We want to come take out these lows before continuing more bullish. At the very least, can we hunt like this liquidity pocket? At the least, maybe we don't make a new low. Again, well, that's gonna be stuff we'll have to look at later in the week. Again, this is not really my ideal chart, I'll be honest with you. I don't like trading in the middle of a range. Right, this would be like the middle of this range. I understand we grab liquidity up here, but this is Again, like not the most ideal unless you're looking at that daily chart. So we can continue to push up and erase into this before this maybe spills over again. So I'm really not liking this as something that I'll probably watch this week for a clear setup. I think again, if I was gonna look for that potential dollar buy though, again, if gold can extend to the higher price of this and kind of like just fill this inefficiency here, I would maybe take a live OB that forms in here. I would maybe take a live OB that forms in here. At least in here or like around here. If we push a little higher, that's fine. Because again, my risk on something like that would be maybe like 20-30 points. Again, I would be targeting like these lows. Again, there's nothing really strong down here. Not really much buying volume coming in either, so again, I would take like a 20 or 30 point risk up here if the idea is that I'm gonna run for, you know, 300-400 points. So again, worthwhile stabs maybe up here at 23.54. I think if you start to break above this though, it's gonna be a tough ride, so we'll have to take a look at that again later, Asian session type stuff, if stuff forms up there. But gold, I'll be honest with you, this is not really looking like something I even want to kind of play with. Again, the higher time frame, but this has really done nothing. It's just trading in the middle of ranges. Again, I would entertain maybe something here at the right time of day with the right confirmations, but outside of that, I don't think I want to touch this. Definitely agree with you on the DXY analysis. Potential target back up to 105.56. Is that what the level was? I wasn't really looking at the pricing for that. Yeah, 105. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like come take out like this wick or something, you know? I don't know. I find it hard to trust this. And I do think some of the here's the thing too. I do think some of the news, specifically that core PCE, I think core PCE comes in a little bit disappointing. If it doesn't, great. That just builds the bearish dollar bias. You guys know me. I'm macro bearish dollar. So if the data comes out that way, great. But currently where we're at in the cycle, I need disappointing results. Like, I don't need CPI and PCE to come out in my favor. If anything, I need them to come out not in my favor, so then I can play my macro direction off of like what we call like a false move, or like an like a one-off data set. Like if PCE were to print out higher this time, we could potentially be taking that as an opportunity because we know future PCEs have a high probability of coming out lower. Right, same thing with inflation. We expect inflation to get better. We expect the dollar to move towards data that continues to support that bearish dollar. So we need data that comes out, you know, wrong in our opinion to kind of give us better pricing. We've discussed this off like CPI readings where like CPI just comes out lower and we're like, that doesn't help us. Like we need price to move against our macro bearish bias. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for here. Again, I don't really see any of this like early week act, like this early week spillover. I don't know, man. I can't trust that to be the weekly high. So if it is, great. I'm wrong. That just means I don't get to push the button. Doesn't mean I lose, you know. So I definitely agree with you, Wally. That's what we're looking for. What's going on, Mr. Freezone Lou? Happy Monday, my brother. Just taking a quick look at stuff. Again, if you guys are hopping in late here or if you're watching the replay, we're just taking a look at some levels, man. NQ with some interesting action too. This has kind of had a few bearish days in a row here, which, again, if you know the Nasdaq is kind of uncommon. Again, these are the first few bearish days we've seen in pretty much, again, a month. So the question is going to be kind of what becomes of this. Do we get like a deeper pullback here? Do we start to form a new range? Again, that doesn't necessarily mean that we'll form the new range here, but, you know, as this pulls back, maybe fills this gap or something. I don't know. Right? Maybe do we just, you know, form a new trading range where we'll get like all annoying like gold for a couple of months? That's a possibility. Or we're just looking at a pullback and we're just going to continue ripping higher. Again, tough to say in its current little environment here. I will say the reason why I think this will kind of just seek a new range low, again, probably somewhere inside this gap, because again, there's just like clear liquidity built up here. there's really no buying action happening, so I expect this to kind of just keep dripping until we find a low. And again, predicting where that's going to be is not really the game we're playing here. Again, we're just mapping out what the week could look like so we could take advantage later. But again, some of the stuff that I like is like last week, again, we swept these highs. Again, we did have these highs as like targets for ideas that we had. Again, that kind of got swept. I did end up trying to take a buy on a pullback here last week. We got out of this trade with like very, very minimal impacts. Basically, small loss. Got out of it super quick. Then some hours later, just continued to tumble. So, again, we had the sweep of liquidity, some decent sell volume that came in here. We can't ignore this. Again, is this reversal volume? I don't know. We don't know that yet. Like, again, this is too early in sort of any sort of cycle. Again, this is like climactic volume, right? This is why I kind of think a range is going to form, right? We're probably going to come down and find some sort of demand. That demand will bring us back up. You know, the supply up here will begin to kind of, you know, form out some new supply and demand mechanics. And again, this will probably be like the average pricing for some period of time. Again, we don't know. Gold's been very annoying. Gold's been annoying for like over a month now. Maybe this falls into that same kind of pattern here. So again, not much I think we can do this week with this. Again, if we print some nice demand down here, again, I wouldn't be opposed to trading this back towards the highs. Same thing with up here. If we form some nice sell side signals, you know, at or around the highs, I wouldn't be opposed to trading it back down. I also wouldn't be opposed to potential sells, you know, early morning absorption plays. I mean, again, you can see how choppy this has kind of been. This continues to push down, and then we pull back. We have a lot of buying volume, but we don't break any structure. This is all opportunities for us to kind of just sell and keep playing the range. So, tough to get a read what this is going to do right now, but again, I expect this to be noisy, I expect this to be choppy. I mean, if we start to really kind of fall, I mean, again, you can expect like maybe a deeper correction on the 4-hour or the daily, but until we see that, again, there's just no reason to speculate. That's all stuff that we will trade in the moment, in the morning, in the live trade room. We'll take a look, and again, if momentum picks up and we could just hold sells, great. But I expect this to just get annoying and kind of sit range bound. So it doesn't really promote good trading. So we'll have to kind of stay more scalp side on this, take our profits. We'll probably sit on like the 1 to 2, maybe 1 to 3 side max on these setups in the morning. Oil has some interesting stuff going on. Again, this kind of is sitting in areas that we were potentially looking at selling from. Again, still playing the potential loan candle here. My biggest worry about this setup is that oil might be more bullish than we think. And I want to just bring the idea that if we get back above... If we get back above this 81, like 28 area, and again, I know we're flirting with this price, but this could be like a daily, like kind of loan candle that's being formed, and I don't want to get trapped looking at sells with this being some sort of like higher time frame cycle where, you know, we've just manipulated a bunch of lows here, easily recovered it. Now buying volume is like coming in. It's like this again. This was an area we expected like a pause or reaction to happen, and one of two things will happen. We'll either play the continuation, like we would expect a CB or a loan candle to act, and we spill over and we look for like 77. But if we start closing above like 81.30, I might just like take tight stop longs and play this as like a loan candle and see if we just get very simple continuations out of here up towards like 86, 87. I don't see any reason why we couldn't do that. I just need to see the closes. So I know Wally was playing this today. I know you were buying it. And again, on the hourly, you know, some decent reasons to have been looking for buys under some of this structure here. You know, very nice, kind of wiping liquidity. He was playing like a live OB. Again, I don't know what you did in terms of management on this, honestly. I don't know if you ever got out or if it broke you even. Either way, it was a fantastic trade. Again, this morning, price spilled over, ended up closing right back up. A lot of absorption. Again, I don't see why this couldn't potentially continue higher. So I'm gonna be looking at that, man. Again, we get above this 81.30. We're above here in the morning. I'm gonna be looking at just taking tight stop continuation buys and seeing if we can't target like 84, 85, 86 here on oil until it hits a supply that's strong enough to kind of like warrant us getting out. So yeah, this is bullish as hell. That's what I'm saying. Like this is it's tough to fight this. Again, we've gotten the pause, we've gotten some reactions. We're not really seeing sellers step in, and when they do, they're not really accomplishing anything. I think it's easier just to buy this. You know, I think I would rather lose on like the buy than to lose like fighting this. So even though it's hit our target of 81.50 for potential sells, it doesn't mean anything. Like we're reading price, we're looking at what's happening, and I'm just not seeing the sellers step in and accomplish anything that's worthwhile. So I don't know what y'all feel about that. That's my opinion specifically about it. I wouldn't be surprised in the trade room if we take something on oil and we scalp this just to the buy side all week. Because again, there's not much else that I see. Like Nasdaq is in a tough spot. Again, we're gonna try to ride out some of this momentum to the sell side. If we get reactions down here, we might try some buys. Again, that's all going to be depending on how this looks at the open throughout the week. Gold is in a spot where I don't even want to touch it. I'm gonna be honest. Again, if something forms up at 23.55, again, we'll stalk that. We might you know risk 20-30 points on a setup up there if something forms. But outside of that, like I think the cleanest, easiest setup would be if we get what we want on oil, just to take tight stop buys in the morning and see if we can't just ride that out for as long as we can. Again, maybe we even like lucky. Maybe if we get lucky enough too, we might even still be able to get in. Like Asian session trades, like down in this area. Yeah, we'll have to see how it closes the day. Again, if this it needs to close the day strong or start tomorrow strong. And all I'm saying is this could potentially be a lone candle, and if it is, then again we should get a good, nice 2-3 days of continuation up towards 86. And if the sell ends up looking better, then the sell ends up looking better. But I think oil is inherently in a way better spot to trade either direction. But yeah, man, that kind of wraps up the dollar index thoughts, Nasdaq thoughts, gold, oil. I don't know if there's anything else you guys want me to take a look at. I really just wanted this stream to be short, quick, easy for people to revisit throughout the week. I didn't want to be on here for 2 hours, so it's super intimidating for everybody. Again, silver is just doing the same shit gold is. I don't really know anything else people trade. I mean, ES is going to be very similar to, it's a little different, actually. Honestly, this looks like it had set up better today. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is what we need on the Nasdaq. See, this is actually, I wonder if anybody was looking at shorts on this. All right, you know what? We'll keep ES on the radar too. Because I would be willing to bet this works itself out as a redistribution. I don't see why we wouldn't. We just got all this buy side absorption. I mean, shit, this might even still be good today. It's only 10:51. Yeah, see, this would have been nice today. This is gonna look uglier as the day goes on. Is this right at the open too? This is right at 10 a.m. Wow. Yeah, this looked good all of 50 minutes ago. Target down to 55.09. What do the higher time frames look like? Just do that real quick. Yeah, this wouldn't have been a bad attempt at 10 a.m. people that were watching today. The Dow continuing to just rip higher though, huh? A little bit of a rotation in the indices. Never reached for what we wanted down here. Yeah, it's interesting that this is, again, because this has kind of been behind the market for a long time. This is kind of like folding and just sitting still while the Nasdaq and ES are running. Seems like we might have a little bit of an indice rotation where Nasdaq and ES might fall a little bit more range-bound / pullback. Meanwhile, the Dow is going to probably rip for potentially its new highs, because it hasn't really made a new high, so this might actually want to rip for like 42k, while the Nasdaq Nasdaq and ES just do nothing. I know, I toggled it on and off just to see what it was like. I just had it on for Nasdaq. I was just seeing if there was a gap like Nasdaq had, because if Nasdaq has it too, but like ES when you don't adjust it has like that gap. So I just wanted to see if that existed on YM as well. Which it does. It just lives here, inside the range. That's what I'm saying. That's what, like, this might be playing catch up. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have a little bit of a. I mean, it's already happening, a rotation. But if this continues for all-time highs, I would expect ES and Nasdaq to kind of just sit there and do nothing. YM did do the fancy. Oh, on the adjusted, you mean? Oh, I got you. No, it did. No, you're right. My bad. I did not notice that. I'm telling y'all, man, this pattern is a great pattern to trade. Right, I'll even overlay it for you. Where all these points kind of don't matter. It's just that, man. When you print a low, you print that internal low, and then you wipe that internal low. It looked way better before before I adjusted it, but again, by far one of the better reversal patterns you can play for sure. Which, if you really understand what's going on here, this is just a liquidity pocket play. It's just a really fancy liquidity pocket play. That's all it is. So if you watch the liquidity lesson that's on my channel, where we talk about liquidity pockets, that's all this is. It's literally an LP play. Yeah, man. It's a fantastic point, brother. And just so you know, too, the point of this pattern is to not, I mean, you can certainly try to trade down here. You know, if something forms, if you understand live OBs and all the fun stuff, absorption, if you understand all the more advanced concepts of why you would maybe take an entry down here. But it's not really about that. It's really just about spotting this and then just knowing how to trade after that. Again, so you could have, you know, found your entry however you like to find your entries. I mean, maybe you found an entry here on a pullback. Maybe you had a buy stop above here because price was breaking out above the high. I don't know. Whatever your entry mechanics are, you can deploy them afterwards. I could care less about how you enter. But when you see something like this play out in the market, you know the direction it's likely to move. Let me not say that it will move, because there's situations that I could show you in the past where this did not specifically work out. And also, just so you know, just because let's just show you two examples on the same chart, right? Because you have the pattern playing out there, and then you also have the pattern playing out here. Right, it's literally the same thing. Again, right? You're forming the low, you're shifting structure, you're creating an internal low, then you're just swiping that internal low into the pocket and then continuing higher. It's the same idea. The liquidity pocket's the same no matter what. All right, this is just the longer, more annoying, drawn-out version of it. Especially powerful when you're sitting with liquidity at the top too. So again, it's the same pattern. Again, if you just go watch the liquidity lesson, it's just the play into the LP. But this is again a more drawn out variation of it. Yeah, exactly. Literally, right next to each other. Both at lows. Both at lows. Not to mention that this one's holding the structural integrity of the overall market too. But that doesn't necessarily matter as much. Yeah, man, they're everywhere. They are everywhere. Trying to see if I could zoom back and find another. Didn't really play over here. Again, you can I mean, you can make the argument again that the same thing is happening here. This is a little bit more aggressive though on the pullback. But yeah, nonetheless, man, it's a fantastic pattern. Yeah, family, anything else? If not, I'm good. I explained everything I expect this week out of certain pairs, and I will see y'all on the live trading session tomorrow morning, bright and early, 8:30. Not 8:30, 8:15. I don't think we have any news tomorrow, so not like we gotta be on early, but yeah, fam, that's all I got for y'all. Love and appreciate y'all. I will see you guys in the morning for a live trading session. It's your boy Skag, and I'm signing off for now. Thank you guys for tuning in.